Hey, what's up, guys? A random man named Sammy here to bring guys an episode 2 review of the Inbetweeners. Now, before I jump into the review, pretty much want to just throw this out there, especially if there are any UK viewers who are watching this video who are fans of the original and are coincidentally watching the US version. I have seen the original. Actually, I've seen the first two seasons. I would have seen the third season, but for some fucking reason, Hulu doesn't have it. Like, and I'm annoyed. I'm really annoyed because just, what the fuck, Hulu? So God knows how long I'm going to have to wait to watch the third season. But yeah. So I can see where you guys are coming from because there are people in the comment section of my previous video saying like, oh, this version is a disappointment, it's complete trash, and all this other stuff. And yeah, I can see where you're coming from because if you watch the original and you watch this our version, the U.S. version, it's like MTV just literally took a big shit on your favorite show. It's like MTV literally quote unquote raped your favorite show because the stuff that are original aren't as funny in this version or were completely toned down or completely removed, and there are some lines that from the original that were completely copy and pasted from the original in this version. So, yeah, I can completely understand where you guys are coming from and why there was so much negativity towards the first episode because again it was just some of the stuff were just copy and paste from the original version or they were just done or they were just executed um, poorly compared in comparison to the original. So um, yeah, and also there was I think like one person commented on my video saying like, oh well, it's way more funnier in the original. To me, I honestly do not like the character Will at all. Like whether whether it be the original or the U.S. version, I just don't like Will at all. And I've seen the first two seasons of the original, and I could say this with, and I could literally say this without a doubt in my mind. I do not like the Will character. I really don't, because honestly, he's just a complaining little bitch that complains over the most retarded shit. He's either complaining about the most retarded shit or trying his damnedest to get with a girl to the point where you just want to just beat the shit out of him for even trying because like he does it because he tries to get with a girl in the most annoying in the most annoying way possible. Just that's and just I'm sorry. Maybe that's just me, but personally I do not find Will funny nor do I like the character. That's yeah, I just don't like the character. I really fail to see how funny he is. I really don't. I really don't consider him funny. I just find him annoying as fuck. I really do. So that's about that. Now on to the review. This episode was pretty decent in my opinion. Actually, to be honest, in terms of hilarity, I prefer the first episode, and that's kind of not really saying that much because, like I said in my first episode one review last week, this episode, last episode, it was funny in some right, but it wasn't funny to the point where I was just like dying out of laughter. In this episode, there were like I would say at least one to possibly even two things that I laughed at in this episode. Everything else was just completely dry. Like even the infamous Jay breaking or Jay's dismantling Simon's car's door. I honestly didn't find that funny in this version because, like, I don't know, because when I watched the original, I was laughing my ass off when that happened. But in this version, I just like, I just look at it and I'm like, okay, he just dismantled his door. So yeah, I didn't even crack a smile when I saw that. I was just like, meh. But yeah, although I did notice there were a few things that weren't in the original version, which were pretty funny in my opinion. Especially when Simon pretty much was just literally just went overboard and squirted Carly to the point where you can see her black bra. I'm like, and Carly was like, ugh. But yeah, I give props for the writers or MTV. Yeah, mostly the writers for including that bit because I actually did find that kind of funny. Um, and it pretty much had and it pretty much and that was like one of the things that pretty much separated um this version's take on the original's third episode. Um, but yeah, but I wasn't surprised that they didn't show how Simon got his license because in the beginning of the episode, Simon just, Simon's like, oh, hey, I got my license, but the original actually showed how he got his license, and just that pedophilic instructor that was just like all over Simon. It was just like, oh my god. So I guess so. Yeah, I understand. Why they didn't adapt that at all, because again, it's pedophilic. It's really pedophilic. But other than that, this was a decent episode. Just fucking hated Will because honestly, because and that's the other thing that goes into what I was saying before about me not liking Will and him being annoying as fuck because all this guy was doing in this episode was just constantly bitching about getting on the fucking ride. Like, what are you, fucking 12? Like, this guy would not stop talking about getting on that ride. And then when that guy was like, oh, I'm sorry, the front can only hold three people, so one of you has to go to the back. And then just Will was just bitching about this and then he was pretty much whoever's on in the front has to be the most stupidest motherfuckers I've ever seen and all this other stuff. And then it turned out they were autistic, which I was actually kind of surprised that they kept it because kept that those guys were special autistic because in the because if anyone remembers from last week's episode, the first episode, um where Will tried to throw the ball back to Simon, um and then it ended up hitting a guy in crunches. Well, in the original, the whole that thing, the situation was kind of the same. Only Will threw a frisbee, but the thing is, the frisbee hit a special needs children, an autistic person, and just it was just so messed up to see. I'm like, it was really messed up. So I understand kind of the reason why they just completely changed that scene because it was just just oh man, it just really looked, in my opinion, looked really messed up. It really looked messed up. And so I can still, yeah, I agree why they changed that up to from changing it to a autistic person to some guy in crunches because I'm sorry, me personally, it just kind of left a bad taste in my stomach when I saw that. It was just so messed up. But anyway, that's pretty much all I gotta say about this episode. Looking forward to next week's episode because I think next week's episode we're gonna be introduced to Charlotte, which I'm really looking forward to how they handled the Charlotte stuff. Even though I'm pretty sure they're gonna tone it down a bit from the original, because especially the sex scene that was present in the original where Charlotte was like having sex with Will and she was like just completely turned off by how unexperienced he was and she was like, oh, I'm not even gonna count that one. And yeah, but I'm pretty sure that stuff isn't going to be adapted into this version because again, standards and practices. But anyway, looking forward to next week's episode nonetheless. I'm the random man named Sam. Leave any comments below regarding this episode, and I'll see you guys next week.